Hey champions, it's Chum here, back with another video about Pokemon Sword and Shield. This time we have a bunch of leaks to talk about, including some starter evolutions, as well as some other information about the region, the story, and new game mechanics coming in Generation 8. There is definitely a lot to talk about here, so I might actually split this up into two separate videos, maybe one video about the starters, and one video about the region information, and who knows what, because, again, I don't know how much I'm going to want to ramble about these things, so, again, be prepared for this to be two separate videos. Either way, I think the best place to start is with the starters. However, before we jump into it, I want to let you guys know that these rumors, these leaks, are in no way confirmed. While to me, the information seems somewhat credible and it actually falls a lot in line with my own beliefs about the game, I definitely want you guys to know that these are not confirmed. These might just be fan art, but there are reasons that I believe these are more than just fan art. So without further ado, let's jump into it and talk about the starters, and I'll put all three of them on screen for you guys here. These are our three starters, or at least their final evolutions, or their leaked, rumored final evolutions, whatever you want to say. I'm just going to call them final evolutions, and you guys can know that I mean, you know, leaked or rumored. Nothing is confirmed here, but let's look at them all. We have our fire type, we have our grass type, and we have our water type. Now, they all look pretty similar to their original forms, and they definitely seem like viable evolution patterns. And one thing I have to take away from these images is that these Pokemon, or these evolutions, they look like real Pokemon. Now, I've seen a bunch of different evolution fan art for these starter Pokemon since they were revealed about a week and a half ago, maybe a little bit longer than that. I don't even remember when it was revealed, but I have seen a bunch of artwork, and not all artwork of these Pokemon and their, people's fantasized evolutions actually look like Pokemon. Now, it's kind of hard to put into words, but there is something about Pokemon, when you look at them, you kind of know that they're Pokemon, or there's some sort of give, and you can kind of look at certain artwork from certain people and look at them and say, hey, this is definitely not a legitimate Pokemon artwork. It's just a feeling, right? Again, a feeling is not like fact. I can't really base off my thoughts of it, but again, looking at this Pokemon, I definitely believe they seem relatively legit. If you guys look at the leaks from the previous generation starter Pokemon, where they leaked Incineroar, Decidueye, and I believe they leaked Popplio as well. I have to find those images. I haven't seen them yet, but if you look at those images, the art styling and the way that this kind of character design sheet has been laid out is very, very similar to those leaks that we had a long time ago. And of course, those leaks were our first views at the brand new starter Pokemon for Gen 7, and of course people wanted to believe them and didn't want to believe them, whatever you think, but at the end of the day, they were actually the real Pokemon. So like I said, there is a good amount of reasoning to believe this. However, it not being confirmed means I can't give it my 100%. Either way, with that all said, let's jump into a bit more of a deep dive and look at the Pokemon, their designs, their potential abilities, and talk about, I guess, our thoughts on the Pokemon. Are they cool? Are they bad? Are they going to be strong? Are they going to be weak? And I figured the best way to do this is to do it in what I'd imagine would be numerical order: grass, fire, then water. So, like I said, to start off with, we have our boy Grookey's final evolution, or theorized final evolution, and this is supposed to be a Pokemon called Tamarine, a grass fighting Pokemon. Now, looking at this Pokemon, I can definitely believe this is grass fighting. First of all, it's a grass art, it's obviously green, it's grass, but the fighting typing actually seems very legit to me. When you look at original Grookey, he had a bit of orange on him, and of course you can see the orange remains on this final evolution in his fingertips and his toes, and that orange, and of course also his mouth, but that orange is very similar to the fighting type orange we're used to seeing. So these are like some of the small clues that Pokemon designs give you as to what kind of types they are, and that's of course a big deal when it comes to gameplay. When you see a Pokemon for the first time, you want to be able to have a solid general assumption of what type they might be. So I can kind of see this being, again, a very Pokemon styled design, which I think is really, really cool. Then, of course, looking at it, you can see it has a gigantic baseball bat, I guess you'd call it, and you can even see it in the small, non-colorized art. He's actually, whacking a fireball or something with the baseball, so very, very cool there. Or maybe he's whacking a coconut, I guess. You can see coconuts, or what looks like coconuts, on the far left side of that image as well. But either way, very, very cool, and this actually seems legit to me, because if you look at the first trailer we see of Grookey, you actually see him kind of banging a stick on a rock as his first appearance. So at first my brain was thinking, hey, banging the ground, right? And I was focused on what he was hitting, not what he was hitting the ground with. And if you look at it, it kind of seems to me like that stick is meant to be like the foreshadowing of the fact that this little guy is going to have a gigantic bat looking thing at the end of his evolution, which I think is really cool. So if you look at the design, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the stick is in his little hair his little leaf hair, if you want to call that, and so that stick is kind of part of him, and I can imagine that the baseball bat is another kind of evolution of that. So I think it's really cool. I really like the design. It seems like it's going to be a bulky but powerful Pokemon, very similar to Torterra. I'm imagining physical bulk and physical strength, but not as much speed or like, you know, special defense. So I'm seeing something like that, and I guess this Pokemon has always reminded me of Torterra because at first I thought it was going to be grass ground. Now if it's going to be grass fighting, I still think it's going to have a very similar aesthetic to Torterra, and maybe even like a Conkeldurr kind of Pokemon. Like, it's obviously, you know, grass type, it's not Conkeldurr, but the idea of, you know, having an object that it evolves with, and obviously being a gigantic, powerful, like, I guess monkey-like creature, I don't know. They're both very humanoid, which I think they're both really cool. I love the color scheme. I love the kind of light yellow, the black, the orange, the green. I think it looks really cool. It looks really diverse in its visuals. You can also see in the bottom of the artwork, there's a little kind of like nod to the little, I guess, leaf thing wrapped around its arm. I'm not sure what kind of significance that has to the design, but it's clearly something important if they have such a big drawing of it. But overall, my thoughts, I think it's a really cool Pokemon, and if this was the final evolution of Grookey, I would definitely be satisfied. I've seen a bunch of artwork where I look at it and I think these don't look all that incredible. I see them and I think to myself that, you know, they don't really stand out, right? Like, when you look at previous generations of Pokemon, you can always look at one of the 3 starters in their final forms and be like, that's the one I want. That one's really cool. Now, I've seen a bunch of starter leaks or, you know, fan art or whatever that haven't had that appeal. I think these Pokemon all have that appeal. Either way, with that being said, I think we've talked enough about Grookey's final evolution, or Theorized final evolution, Tamarine. So let's move on to the Scorbunny evolution. Now, for Scorbunny's evolution, you can see it has a very, very, very unique design that is extremely different from its original form, and this Pokemon is supposedly called Raboost, and it is a Fire Steel Pokemon. So first of all, kudos to this theory and this artwork for not being fire fighting. I think this Pokemon looks really, really cool. My one major issue with this leaked artwork is actually what's dead in the center of it. Now, of course, this is supposed to be, you know, leaked artwork for the Pokemon of Generation 8. But if you look dead in the middle, you can see there's a bit of a size scaling image, and it scales this Pokemon against the Gen 7 trainer, which to me is a little bit odd, and it makes me think that maybe, just maybe, these are fake. But that's not the topic of today's video. We're just kind of talking about what we think of these, you know, potentially true designs. And I have to say, I absolutely love Raboost. I reckon it's really cool that they took something very basic, like a little, literally just a little rabbit that has fire attribute, and made it into something so unique. Like, this is like a rocket-powered rabbit, which is why it's called Raboost. I think it's really cool. You can see a lot of information about the design of the Pokemon. Its ears almost function as wings. You can see the designs of that there. You see it has like these, you know, kind of puffy legs that can really, you know, really heavily contract, and then I'd imagine that's how it gets its jumping power. You know, you kind of, you know, not really inflate, you like deflate the legs and then inflate them again, and that's what makes it have such jumping power. And of course, you can see it has the ability to shoot fire out of its hands in some sense, and of course fly. I think the design is really, really cool. It's definitely unique, and that's what I want to see in Pokemon. I don't want to see things just evolve into a bigger version of itself. I want them to have their own unique traits, and this Pokemon definitely has that. We've seen plenty of rabbit Pokemon or bunny Pokemon throughout the game, and I'm just glad this isn't literally fire type Lopunny. I think this evolution is really, really cool. Honestly, if Sobble, or quote unquote the final evolution Invisible, just to spoil a little bit, is not real and this is real, I'm team this, dude. This Pokemon is actually really, really cool. I think that if this does turn out to be true, it's going to be one of the favorites. I reckon it's a really, really cool typing as well. Fire Steel is not something we see too much. I believe we've only ever seen it with Heatran, and I don't think there's been anything else. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments section below, but I believe Heatran is the only Fire Steel Pokemon we've had so far. And I gotta say, having that kind of typing, having something more unique is really, really cool. I think it's going to be a very strong typing. Of course, weak to ground, but ground type weakness is one of the biggest weaknesses, or one of the easiest weaknesses to avoid. Which, you know, you switch in a flying type Pokemon, you have a full immunity. You can give this thing an air balloon if you really want to avoid a first initial ground type hit. So I think that's really, really cool. I absolutely love the design. I'm imagining some really powerful moves. Potentially this thing could even let Steel Wing, because the way that ears act like wings. I'm imagining it's going to be a physical attacking Pokemon. I don't really see this Pokemon actually using moves like Fire Blast and Flamethrower. Of course, it will be able to learn those moves, but it seems to me like more of a Blaze Kick, Fire Punch kind of Pokemon. Potentially a Flare Blitz Pokemon. I mean, look at it. It's literally a jet. It can fly into you at max speed, and it can just blow you apart. And, you know, on that note, definitely one thing I didn't really address is the idea of Grookey's final evolution is definitely going to be physical. Like I said, Wood Hammer is going to be its primary move. I mean, look at it. Look at it. It literally has a giant Wood Hammer. Either way, back on the topic of this Pokemon, I think it looks really, really cool. Again, I love the design. The color scheme of the black and white with a little bit of red. Honestly, it doesn't scream fire starter, right? We've had a lot of fire starters that have, you know, a lot of red on their body, and that is obviously one of the big giveaways as to what typing this Pokemon is. But the fact that a physical fire is a heavy part of its design, and look at the top left image, you can see, like, you know, this Pokemon is all about having physical flames coming up its body. I think that makes up for the fact of a lack of, you know, a heavy, you know, red-orange color scheme. And I mean, look at Typhlosion. Typhlosion isn't the most red or the most orange or the most fire-looking Pokemon, but because one of its physical traits is that it has fire spewing out of its body, it works. And I think this Pokemon can work just as well. It looks very, very cool, and I definitely can't wait to see this Pokemon in action in the full game, because if this is real, it's going to be absolutely amazing. Either way, with that being said, I think we've talked enough about Raboost, the Scorbunny leaked evolution. Let's talk about Sobble's final evolution, which is called Invisible. Yes, you heard me, its name is supposedly a pun called Invis Sobble, which I think is really cool, and the reason it's called that is because it's actually a water ghost. My only gripe with this name is that it literally has the first evolution's name in it, and I don't think we've ever seen that in Pokemon before, where a Pokemon's name is literally the same as the first evolutions, but with a pun added to it. So, I'm not too sure what to think about this, and especially because this Pokemon doesn't necessarily look as though it is Water Ghost. Now, again, the two leaks that I'm getting this information from might not necessarily be the same leaks, but looking at this Pokemon, I don't really think it screams Ghost type to me. And I honestly couldn't care less. I think this Pokemon is absolutely awesome. This is definitely, like, I'm just going to lead off with this. If these leaks are real, and you can tell that these leaks are tied together first of all, because you can see the image of Raboost's foot just above in the top left corner of the invisible image. So very, very cool. These things are definitely all tied together, and I think that this Pokemon right here, this Pokemon, this creature is easily, if it were real, if it is real, I'm not saying it isn't real, it could be. If this Pokemon is real, this is easily one of my top 5 favorite starter Pokemon. Its design is absolutely spectacular. It looks amazing. Look at the face of this creature in the top left-hand corner. I absolutely love this design. It has a very serious, angry face, but if you look just below that, the Pokemon also looks so cute, and I absolutely love it. It has a really cool, unique niche with its tail where it can seemingly create a whirlpool to stand on. So this is probably how it, you know, swims, and I'm imagining it using physical attacks like Waterfall, where it rushes at the opponent with the whirlpool following it. I think that's just so cool. I think this Pokemon's design is incredible. You can also see in the bottom right-hand corner, it appears as though it can use some physical attacks as well. It has a water blade effectively coming off of its fin. You know, it has the natural fin there, but it seems as though when it attacks, it can actually use that fin as a blade of water. So very, very cool. And honestly, there's not too much to say about it. It does have a very heavy yellow color scheme, and that makes me want to believe this is actually going to be a water electric Pokemon if it is real, because it looks so cool. You know, we don't have many water electric Pokemon. I believe we only have Chinchou and Lantern, and I mean, they're not the best Pokemon in the world, but their typing is nice. I personally love the typing of Chinchou. Water Electric is such a cool typing, and I think this would be really amazing if it did have that typing. But on the topic of it being Water Ghost, I think Water Ghost is still really great. We've had very few of those in the past. I know we've had Jellicent, if I'm even talking about the right Pokemon, and its evolution. I can't even remember these Pokemon's names now, damn. But very, very cool Pokemon. I think the typing is really nice. I love Ghost typing. Ghost typing is cool. I don't like fearing Dark typing, but I mean, hey, being able to hit Psychic types and other Ghost types for super effective is really cool. This Pokemon, by its design, definitely looks like a very fast Pokemon. It has a very sleek build, so imagine this is going to be our speedy offensive Pokemon, which I love. I always love speedy offensive Pokemon. They're always really cool. I can imagine this Pokemon is definitely going to get the move Aqua Jet. This is literally Aqua Jet personified, so that's really cool. I gotta say, overall, I absolutely love this Pokemon design. I think it is probably my favorite. It has a good mix of colors. It has the light blue, the dark blue, and then that, you know, that stark contrast with the yellow. I think it looks spectacular. And honestly, like, I feel like I haven't talked about this Pokemon as much as I talked about the others, but damn, dude, it looks incredible. We don't really get to see any kind of visualization of the fact that Pokemon can go invisible, as we see that Sobble can do. But potentially that means it being a ghost type, it would learn moves like Phantom Force, and if that's the case, I'm imagining this is going to be a physical water type Pokemon. And I guess so far, looking at all these Pokemon, they all seem to be physically oriented Pokemon. You know, you have the Boosting Rabbit, which I imagine uses that at speed to rush in and attack in close range. I mean, it looks like it has very powerful feet, so potentially Blaze Kick. The first Pokemon obviously has its gigantic bat, and this Pokemon again has the Water Blades on its arms, as well as incredibly, you know, speedy appearance with potential moves like Phantom Force and whatnot. So I think they're going to be really cool. As for maybe unique moves for these Pokemon, I know in the previous generation all of our Pokemon had unique moves. I honestly don't see anything, and I guess those unique moves kind of did stem off of Z moves, so maybe we'll see Z moves return. Who knows about that? But either way, I definitely think this Pokemon, this Invisible as it's called, which again, I think it's a weird name. That's probably the most kind of precautionary fact in these images, is that name just seems too illegitimate for it literally to just be a pun on Sobble's own name. But still, very, very cool. And I think because I've talked so long about these starter Pokemon, I will actually wrap up this video here and make a separate video talking about the region information. But like I said, let me know in the comment section below what you think about these starter Pokemon. I know it might not be the first time you've seen it. Like I said, this information has been out for a little while before I recorded this video, but I still wanted to bring it up on the channel and talk to you guys about my opinions of these Pokemon. Like I said, I think they all look really, really cool. Some of them might not fit everyone's taste, but I think regardless, they all appear to be very unique, very heavily stylized Pokemon that actually look like Pokemon. They have that same appeal. You can look at one of the 3 starters and say, hey, this one's dope, I want that. And that is my feelings about the water evolution. And I think they will look amazing. And I think these could very well be the real Pokemon. And if they are, I actually am sitting here hoping these are the real evolutions, because they look great. While initially I was Team Grookey, I thought Grookey was really cool. If it was going to be Grass Grand, I would have loved it. It would be like, you know, the second coming of Torterra, but no one can replace Torterra. Torterra is amazing, but Sobble, Invisible, whatever you want to call it, this Pokemon that you're looking at right now, it's beautiful, dude. I actually fell in love. When I saw this image, I fell in love. I told everyone in my life, I was like, sorry, I don't love you anymore. I actually love this Pokemon instead, and they didn't take it well. So hopefully it's real, so I didn't throw my whole life away just for this fake Pokemon, but still. But yeah, like I said, guys, let me know in the comment section below what you guys think of these Pokemon. Do you love them? Do you hate them? Do you think that maybe there's some things about the design that I might have missed that would give us even more clues about what these Pokemon are like? Again, let me know all that information in the comment section below. I'd love to have a conversation with you guys about these potentially real leaked starter evolutions. Either way, guys, like I said, I want to thank you for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys want to see more content from this channel featuring Pokemon Sword and Shield, a bunch of, you know, rumors, leaks, you know, just, you know, trailer reactions, everything like that, hit that subscribe button also, because there's going to be plenty more coming very, very soon. I am absurdly excited for these games. More excited than I was for Sun and Moon, I think. So I can't wait. It's going to be incredible. Either way, that's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. And until next time, I hope you guys have a wonderful day.